Hey kids, happy Monday, happy end of April. This is the last TGL of April. Welcome to TGL, by the way. My name's Granite Jim. Let's talk about stuff. Welcome, welcome, welcome one and all. First of all, this is a panel-driven show. So if you are a YouTube member or a Patreon member, get in there because I don't have a lot of stuff to front load with. I want to get right into this discussion. I have 5 internet tabs to go over for news, and I have a little bit of channel business. So, first of all, thanks to all this here. I see Manic Plastic Toy Shop, Johnny Sorensen, Ricky, Star Fox. I see Largo's Lair, Giraffe, and that's everybody I see so far. But welcome to the show. Those of you that are not chatting or are here from anywhere across the interwebs, welcome and thank you. So, a little bit of channel business. In case you may have missed it over the weekend, my Motu Origins Eternia arrived. Now that's the poster, that's Modi, the box is out there. We put out a trailer on Thursday or Friday, about a video that of me telling the story of what led us to get one aftermarket, right? It's about a 20-minute video, and it's done. It's in the can. It's on the channel right now, but it's premiering immediately after this show. So I'm going to set it to premiere within like 2 minutes of this show. So I'll post the link and everything else from that premiere as we get towards the end. So you guys are in for a fun show because we're going to have this panel about brand and product and IP loyalty and all these other things. And then at the end of that, you're going to get to hear me talk about getting an Eternia. So, and it's definitely a very me kind of video where I talk about my feelings and all those things that collectors don't like talking about. But we have them. Let me catch up with you guys. Larko says, grind me, baby. Perhaps later. Johnny says, April's end. Quick, someone call the turtles. Hang on, April. Lax Siverex in the house says, hello, friends. Hello to you, sir. Good to see you. And Giraffe says, April's end is the reason I watched TMNT as a kid. You're not wrong. Deadass. Johnny says, yeah, mo Eternia, mo problems. Better be a vid of where it ends up. There will be. There will be. And I talk about that in the video, like what is probably going to happen to it. But, oh, hey! Chocolate rain. Chocolate rain. Chocolate rain, thanks, man.
Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, Chocolate Rain is coming in from over on Twitch. So now he's a disciple. That is also a membership, and I have to start putting messages out there now. So for those of you that have not been here in a while, like over on Twitch, Chocolate Rain, I do a show now talking about collecting and toys and pop culture and everything. I still play video games, I just don't on camera that much anymore. But welcome. Good to see you, and thank you for that subscription. I really appreciate that sub. Go back. So you said where it ends up. As of now, it's in my living room, and we have to like shimmy by it to get anywhere. And Lauren seems to think it'll end up out in a storage area we have in the kitchen. Once we get the shelves kind of right and move all this stuff out of here, it'll probably go right in front of that first shelf right on the top there. That's probably where it's going to end up. But when it gets there, you'll know. Trust me. Logic Blaster here says, "What's going on, Jim? Love your channel." What's going on? I love you, man. It's always good to see Logic Blaster. Were you here the last week or two where I talked about getting a whole bunch of Star Trek figures? Because I did. I got a lot of Star Trek figures. And I got a transporter coming as well. I figured you'd like that. It's always good to see you, brother. Yeah, boys! Salzburg with the $2 chat says, "Greetings. Greetings to you too, brother. So good to see you." Alexa, do not disturb. I won't disturb you. No shit. Oh, it's just Lauren getting home from the store. Larga says, "I believe we should bring back public floggings around tea time at your house." Yeah, we can do that. You can. Manic Plastic says that the Eternia is huge. Yes, it is. It's even... I don't care. Unless you've seen the box in person, you don't know how big this is. It is fucking huge. None of the videos do it justice. It is fucking enormous. And I love it. Let's see. Johnny says, "Well, toy customizing has always been around, except that it's big time now. It's Lack Attack." Jason Garcia says, "Shit, I'm late." You're right on time, because you a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. All right. Jason says, "Don't feel bad, dude. My bro's HasLab Unicron sat in stores for years. And 3 months put it on the porch before he set it up." Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you know. Manic Plastic, just you know. I get it. You know. I understand. That's good. That's good. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, you guys have been following the channel a long time. Like that Grayskull. I got that Castle Grayskull from back when you couldn't get them for love nor money. So like 2021. I still haven't opened it. I got that Snake Mountain that same year. Got all the parts to complete it. Never put the parts together. Never displayed it complete. And then I got the Snake Mountain that's behind that Eternia poster. Got that last year. Haven't opened that either. So... Salzburg asks if that's Cyborg on the superpower shelf. It is not. That is a Brainiac that you see in Chrome. There is a 6-inch Cyborg over here. He is being obscured by the... Yeah, he's just being obscured by the shelf thing. But no, it's not Cyborg. Although there may, you know, you never know what's happening on this show. You never know what's going to show up on the shelf. Got me Eternia, which is a major grail. You never know what's going to happen this week. You never know. You never know. Gordon says, "All right, the rent is here. Behave. Behave yourselves." Robocop 2. Thank you very much. All right. Mike had to put together 3 fold-out tables in a row just to display correctly. Yeah. You guys know we've been house hunting, and we've been really we're looking at different spaces for everything. So like some houses have these big bonus rooms. Sometimes I'm going to have to finish a garage, stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And what I know I want to do is kind of like have the center of the whole room be like a buffet style table of all of Motu just in a row, right? So you can walk around both sides and make it happen. So I'm definitely interested to just the brain gets going, right? And so you just start to think like, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? So all of this stuff happening together, you know, is getting to this point. Like we had this revelation this weekend about our budget and what that means we could afford in the area, and we're really stoked because we're actually have to probably pay less than we think for a house, which is cool. Yeah, Modi the Moat Monster is right here in all his glory. I got him out of the box because this is the one thing you can get out of it aside from the poster that's actually displayable right out of the box. So yeah, Modi's right there. I did not get a King Grayskull. The seller I got it from did not get King Grayskull. I knew that going into it, and I got to be quite honest. I don't have any interest in King Grayskull as a character, and I also feel like I personally did not back the crowdfund in that first week, so I would feel a little weird having that figure. So for me, it was like, nah, I don't need that. You know, had they sent one along, I wouldn't have been mad, but it was like, I didn't need that. Giraffe says, wrap carpet around the towers if you own a cat. We don't right now, but we will. And we're taking great steps to make sure that the toy room that we construct is not pet-free, but pet-friendly. And, you know, we're going to do our best to protect our investments for sure. Wilhelm says, bring a Eternia and 3 folding tables to each showing. Then ask the realtor, do you have anything that matches my Motu better? I love it. I might do that, dude. I might. Johnny says the King Grayskull figure is meh, and then there's a nicer Masterverse one that's still cheap. Exactly. I don't need the character, and I think that I really feel like that having that figure as like I got King Grayskull. I'm like, that's a flex. Fuck flexing. Fuck that shit. Right? And you'll understand what I'm talking about when you see the video where I talk about, because basically we got it, we made sure everything was okay, and I just sat in this room and talked about it, told the whole story, and then edited it down to something watchable. Because you only have so many opportunities to catch moments that are truly a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And this really felt like that. So I hope you guys will enjoy that video. Like I said, I've got 5 little tidbits to go over news-wise, pre-order-wise, whatnot. And we're immediately going to go into the panel. So those of you that have access to the panel, so that means Patreon members, YouTube members, you know, all those folks, hop in because we're only a few minutes away from getting into that. I've already got my headphones on. I'm ready to talk about brand loyalty and, you know, property loyalty, all that stuff. Okay? So, now, also, hello, World Minute Cardboard. Good to see you. Hope to talk soon. So, first and foremost, Wednesday, May the 22nd, Extendar is going up for official release. There have been actual carded examples of him that have leaked out, but the official release through Mattel Creations is the 22nd of May. I've got it on my calendar. I'm going to get him, and that's that. So for those of you that need to know, that is, you know, barely 3 weeks away. So 3 weeks from tomorrow, in fact. So make sure you take care of yourself if you're looking to get that. So it's important to note. Let me catch up with chat real quick here. Yes, Jimmy Seltzer says free Twitch sub with Amazon Prime. That's right. 100%. Yes, and thank you. Oh, yeah, okay. Yo, Victor Caroli's on the panel. I can't promise anything. It's up to Victor to show up. World Made Cardboard's traveling. Salzburg's got to run back to work. No worries, man. I hope you're doing great. I love you. We should talk soon. Goji is also working and cannot panel. He uses a verb. Get over it. And Keith in the house. In the house. Yeah, I gotta talk to you and Mark. We gotta make something happen here soon. Squigs in the house as well. Good to see you, brother. Love you. We should get together this weekend. Give me a text. Lax on his way out. No worries. Okay. So, other news titty bits. So, one of the things that I go over in the video is who I bought the Eternia from. It's this shop right here. And they're Titan Toys. They're in Canada. As such, a lot of the stuff they get is like double import, so some of the prices go up. But what I find interesting, for example, they're doing like the Machina line. So if you missed out on pre-orders for like this Gullwing and you wanted to pay a little extra to get it, you can. They've got a few other things that you can't find anymore, or they're not like in stock anywhere. Again, prices are going to fluctuate because they are dealing with them being out of country or whatnot. Some prices are great, some prices are high. Your results will vary. They're just getting started out, so I realize that with that, their margins are going to be a lot higher because looks like they're not necessarily getting these things with a retail license yet. But they're building towards that. They use the same platform as Nerdzoic and many other shops. And as I'll go on to explain in the video premiering after today's show, their customer service knocks it out of the park. So please consider Titan Toys, especially if you're in Canada, but also if you're in the US or anywhere else. So, we go into Big Bad. We have this Mafex Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I normally wouldn't give a flying shit about this, but the face sculpt on Tobey is so good. Like, if that is the Spider-Man you grew up with, and you don't normally collect Marvel or MCU, but you would love to have a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and the Hasbro one wasn't cutting it for you, this is really cool. And it comes with webbing and everything. It's quite nice. And it's, Mafex has really good quality. So, definitely wanted to bring that up. Catch up with chat. You guys are just rolling today. All right, cool. Thank you, Squigs. Just Jeff is in the house. Hey, how you doing? Ricky says, I mean this as a compliment. When you say, you sound like Butthead, and it's great. Shut up, Beavis. Yeah, I can see where it's at, Butthead after his balls drop, maybe. Right. All right.
All praise be to Gradzilla. Welcome to the Disciples. All praise be to Gradzilla. Welcome to the Disciples.
Squigs is a disciple. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Looks like that might have been a Prime sub, I'm guessing. Either way, thank you. Appreciate that, buddy. You can feel the melancholy from here. Yes. Waiting for the Spider-Man 3 Edgelord Peter. Like, I actually would buy a Hasbro version of that. Seriously. I mean, or you could buy the Tombstone figure, swap out the hands and the head with the Hasbro Tobey Maguire, and then you've got almost that outfit. Not the hairstyle, but you'd have the outfit at least. So, it's something. It's something. So, 2 more pre-orders. This is one from Mezco. This is a classic Captain America. So it's all soft goods, and I thought this is kind of interesting how they're actually playing this out. So they're really showing you the reality of his outfit, which I think is just cool. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the reviews of this, because you'll get to see, in motion what this costume really would look like. And I think that there's going to be a bunch of people that actually appreciate the Canon Films Captain America just a little bit more after this, because this outfit in person in 3D, it really does look pretty fucking ridiculous. So I don't think we give the costume designers in the MCU enough credit for what they were able to do with the Captain America outfit concept. Because when you look at this comic accurate one, it's like it's a little rough, man. It's a little rough. Nah, I appreciate that, brother. I really do. Yes, Matt Salinger, who has all the acting talent of a stale loaf of bread. just as Ami just announced a reissue of the symbiote suit based off the comics coming in May for Mafex. There was $100 of my dollars. That's fair. Black suit was always really sexy to me. Even as a kid, I was like, there's something about that. There's something about it, you know? America! All right, so last thing before we go into the panel/discussion. Again, anyone who's eligible, hop on in. If you're having a problem finding the link, just let me know, and I will make sure you get it. Because I know that sometimes these things, even when they're pinned, can be hard to find. So, last one going in. Boop, 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 boop. Where are we at? Here we go. So, last thing, which I don't know if it's showing on the screen or not. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. That was weird. All right. So, sorry, the screen froze for a minute. This is the Black Series Darth Vader from New Hope. I like this a lot. It's got the red in the eyes, if you look. And it's more like the regular Star Wars. And the one that I got, which I believe was from Obi-Wan, had the same thing. So I'm 99% sure this is just a reissue of that figure, and that figure was awesome. But if you want a 6-inch Darth Vader, I can vouch for the Black Series Darth Vader here for the $25. It's a great figure, all right? And look, I know if you already have a Vader, this doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to me either. But you have to remember, at one point, all of us at one point didn't have one. You know what I mean? And then you get one. You know what I'm saying? I just like to help people out because there's always the hope that if you watch the show and you like the show and you don't collect toys, maybe you will. Or maybe there's a toy line that it starts to wear you down, right? So I want to give people those opportunities to get things that maybe they don't otherwise know is available at retail price before they go looking for something older. So I get you, right? I get you. But we're all right. Jeff just got both Ben Riley's, so might as well get a Parker. Related news, huge Marvel Legends Spider-Man sale soon. There you go. That's awesome. All right. Okay. So, Red Brown fan, sure. I mean, I would love to see a figure of that. Like, if they could do a Red Brown, but also do a Team America reissue at the same time, I'd be in. And Jeff says, if the motorcycle doesn't pop out of a van, is it even Captain America? I mean, sure. Jeff says, Obi-Wan Vader was really good. Stuck with that. He's locked in an eternal fight with Bespin Luke and Mara Jade. There you go. Mine is back there. Both my Vintage Collection and my Black Series one are going to be in a Bespin setting. So, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. So, we are ready to go for panel. I know that there's some folks that are going to be coming in, some that may not be able to make it. I understand that, but we're going to do with what we can. If no one's able to show up, that's okay. We can just go straight to the premiere. I have no issue with that at all. Looks like we might have... Aha, we do have somebody here. Let me get over to the panel. All right, and just get him in there. Is it scene one? Yes. Okay. Will!
Hello, grind friends. How are you?
I can't hear you. Are you muted?
No, you can't.
No.
No.
Are you speaking? Why can't I hear you?
Oh.
I
don't know. It's a perfect time to...
Yeah, that's on my end. Hang on.
Okay. Well, hello, grind fans.
My headphones came off, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to entertain the
I'm
audience.
on too long. Hang on.
It's a little...
Go ahead and say something, Will.
Grindhead.
Huh.
Can you hear me? No? Is
You
it
guys
me?
can hear, right? I know they can.
Okay.
But I can't hear you through my actual headphones. That's weird.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see you
everyone
coming
else-
through. It's not that.
Grinded. Hey, Gojatron, how are you? Haven't seen you in so long.
You go ahead and keep talking, buddy. I'm
Okay.
gonna figure out what's going on my end.
All right. Hey, anyone fan of slurping sounds through a straw? No? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Grinded. Dun, 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 bow, 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 bow. He makes everything grindy.
Oh,
Grind.
I'm an
you
idiot.
hear
I had
that
the
now?
fucking thing muted. I literally had it muted in the fucking.
Can you hear me now?
Oh my
Grind,
god. All right. Well, you're getting some love in chat, buddy. You're getting
Yeah. Oh,
some
I'm
love
a
in chat here.
I'm loyal to the grind label. The grind. I am a grind loyalist.
I
So if
appreciate
that's what we're talking about today, right?
that. Well, brand loyalty in
Oh.
general.
Oh,
But like last week's show, we were talking about loyalty to, like to a property or an IP versus loyalty to the brands that are in charge of putting them out or own them, and I think it's very different. There's also loyalty to consider, like people like will turn on each other. Like there's the whole repro versus original, all this stuff. Like how far does
sure.
loyalty go? What are your general thoughts on that?
Well, being a man of very strong and, varied opinions, I'm very controversial. Most people, I'm just like an axe, just cutting the fandom in half. No, I am very mild when it comes to my extreme opinions here. But yeah, I understand where people have been with they've been with a brand for a long time. It's what's familiar to them. They like it. They want to continue with it. That's fine. You know what I mean? And maybe they take a turn, they change things. It gets a little worse for wear, so to speak, and people are a little disappointed. I understand that too. I'd say just all in moderation, though. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. To go on some huge tirade about this and that and get really emotional over a brand, I just think is, I don't know, more telling of you than the brand itself. But
I agree.
take it with a grain of salt, they say. I don't get too upset. I do get, I get annoyed at stupid stuff, sure,
Everyone does.
and, I yell at my TV screen sometimes and I bitch about things that don't make sense, but I kind of leave them after that. It's just kind of falls off after that. And most of the time, if I don't like something, I just don't buy it.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, that's probably the best way to handle such situations, frankly. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just forget that, despite many, many people across the social media space and just in the community saying, dude, if you don't like it, it's fine. An example of like what I would call like that middle ground, as an example, is that Playmates Voltron set that's just starting to hit stores. Where
Yeah.
it's a reissue from like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4 years
Yeah.
ago. And it's a straight reissue, nothing different, except maybe the copyright stamp on the box or the
Yeah.
toy. And maybe even then it's not anything different. I haven't heard any rabid Voltron fans going, ooh, like I don't hear that.
Yeah, I'm interested because I missed it the last time around. I just wasn't collecting at that time. I think it was like
Right.
2018, so I might have just got back into it. I'd like to buy something at retail that can make a pretty nice Voltron,
It reminds me a lot of the old school Matchbox one that we got. And
Yeah.
I had that weird collection where I got the original Matchbox die-cast Black Lion, but then by Christmas I got the other lions. They had gone back to the plastic. So I got the metal lion and the plastic lions, which is weird. So just the novelty of them all, I don't know, matching would be nice.
Yeah.
And also, and I'm just going to throw this out there, getting a Voltron for $100 that's actually this big. Most of your Voltrons you get out there, they're $70 and they're this tall, or they're $400 and they're that tall. And
or
there's no
even
middle
going
ground.
back, and looking for a a vintage one. It could be, you're going to
Very
find ones in
expensive.
varying degrees and pay a lot more. I saw a review. Someone got like an early release sample of this and they did a review. I saw it on YouTube just because I really wasn't familiar with the previous release.
Same.
And yeah, they said it's pretty much the same, but it's got a bunch of like electronics in it and, tons of voice clips from the show.
Mhm.
It seems like a really solid toy at a pretty decent price. Now, I will be upset if it's like, snatched up and becomes a scalper kind of thing, because
Yeah.
I don't know if it's available online or readily
The
available online right
the
now. But
the Black Lion is.
okay,
The Black
but I'm
Lion is. The other
looking.
four aren't there, and there's also supposed to be just a pack of all of them that you
Oh,
get for like
that's what
$10
I would
less.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you buy them separate, it's like 110, and then
Okay.
supposedly there's $100 packet where you get all of them together. But there's been no listings for that.
Yeah.
So like my instinct was to grab the Black Lion and then just snatch up the colored lines as they become available, kind of a thing. Because you can get them online and you can get them locally in
Okay.
stores here in DFW. But it was like,
Yeah.
well, if I can't get them all, it's like, do I get a Black Lion and just sit on it, and then the set comes out, and I'm like, fuck, now I have a Black Lion I don't need. So it's in the case of something like Voltron, I would say similar to like if you had a combiner that cables coming out in a set. I think you would. It's that weird, like from a toy buying perspective, it gets a little finicky.
Sure. Sure, but I haven't heard any negative stuff about it. But it's
No.
blind loyalty, and anything will get you killed. Bruce
Bruce
Springsteen.
Springsteen. That's right. Well, like
Yeah.
Dan, Pixel Dan, got a hold of this new one, and he has the original as well. And he's like, and he compared me like these are 1-to-1. I cannot find any differences. And he made the point that the one he got from 2018 or 2019 has held up perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Few minor quibbles, nothing out of the ordinary. Like he's a little fiddly to stand up, but
Okay.
I mean, come on, it's a big guy. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, at that size, it does get hard to keep those joints, and to keep it at an affordable price too. Because, at $20 a lion, 30 for the Black Lion, you could just be walking down the aisle with no. This could hook a toy collector back into collecting. You know what I mean? Like, at that price, if I was just walking down, I wasn't into collecting at the time, but I always, checked out that toy aisle and I saw that, I might just be like, well, damn, at that price, yeah, I'll snatch them up. But if they were $40, $50,
Exactly.
I complain about pricing. I complain about choices that certain action figures, companies make. Hasbro bugs me sometimes. Mattel bugs me. They all get on my nerves from time to time. And like I said, there's a difference, I guess. Like, I'm not against consumer advocacy. Like something like where Michael French will do a video on like, the follies of these companies and the poor decisions they made, and add, some constructive criticism for how they could have done things better. And then people who are loyalists to that brand will like attack him in the comments or get upset and say he's being a hater and stuff like that. Like, I've got no problem with that. We're all in this together. Consumer advocacy is a great thing. I don't feel that strongly about it, but I appreciate the efforts that others go to make it better for us. You know what I mean? The
Absolutely.
reason they're doing it is not just for hatred. They want these companies, they want to push them to make a better product for us. So I understand that point of it as well. And then there's people that say, no matter what it is, I'll buy it. If it's Star Wars, I'm buying it. If it's socks, T-shirts, hats, goofy little things, and they love it, good for them. That brings them joy. So, I'm not one to say that they can't enjoy those things. Funko Pops, for example, would be a great. People are very loyal to that brand, and
Yeah.
a lot of us just don't get it.
But I would also go so far as to say that Pops, in whether we want to admit it or not, I think it got a lot of people into toy collecting.
Sure.
Because there was something to get from everything you could possibly want, and then the toy companies started to follow suit.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. I don't know how accurate
Wasn't
that
there
is.
sort of like a Beanie Babies kind of like
Yeah.
kind of rushed with that too, where they were going to be worth a lot of money, like speculation on that?
And some
I
of
didn't
them
follow
are.
it closely.
Some
Yeah.
of them are. But that's so few and far between. But there are still people that just collect them like nuts. They like their little pop vinyl walls. Like I have like 3 or 4. And
I know some people that have, a whole wall display, and I gotta say, that packaging looks nice when it's all stacked up together and stuff. And some of those displays look great, and I could see why someone would enjoy that. It's a very nice presentation of all the different licenses and IPs that people love, but they're just not for me.
Exactly.
That's all there is to it.
But I think we have to accept to a certain degree that that's just part of the landscape we live in, because there are certainly people out there that they just want something that represents that character. They don't care if it articulates. It doesn't have to be accurate. And hey, if that's you, but that's still keeping the property alive. It's still keeping commerce alive. It's free market. It's whatever, And I think that there's, whether we're talking about pops or we're talking about something boutique like Eternia, I think that like there's pros and cons to all of these things, and I'm definitely on the side of consumer advocacy when it comes to the fact that Eternia was overpriced to begin with, and the fact that it should never have been just a crowdfund. It should have been a wider. I understand why they did what they did in many, many ways. I'm not going to say I don't see the optics of the business. We've had many talks about that. But then turn around and buy one aftermarket, I think reflects a different thing. I think a person who is more cynical might say that I changed my mind somehow, or that I'm no longer a consumer advocate because I went in this direction.
Okay.
But I would go so far as to say, like, no, man, I'm 46, I'll be 47 in a month. I got one chance in my life to get an Eternia and not spend over $2,000. I'll do it now because it's my money, it's my toy room. I'll do what I want.
Oh, sure. I mean, I could say that we've all said that, we don't agree with something, but, or we don't like it, but we bought it anyway. I mean, that's not betraying anything.
No.
Or, for example, people saying you have to back the Kickstarter if you're a true fan. If you are a true fan, you're going to back it. Otherwise, you're letting this company down and you're ruining it for all of us. I don't think that's
stupid.
a fair statement either.
That's not, too, because in a reseller market, we know these things are going to get funded most of the time. If it's a good idea, it's going to get funded because there's a demand. Then you have things like the Black Series Rancor, which the base idea was good, but they didn't put the right things in it. So that's where I think loyalty becomes a test, if you will. It's like, do you need to have everything from the line, or are you able to see between the bullshit lines sometimes? And I think Star Wars collectors who get a very bad rap, deservedly so, about how shitty they can be to each other and others, I think unified across the board, we're like, nah, man, no Ula, no Sail. But also, welcome, Bill, to the panel and to the show. Welcome back.
How you doing, Bill? How are you? There was one thing I was going to ask you, and I can't remember what it was. So, Bill, why don't you share your thoughts, and then maybe I'll remember what I was going to ask Jim.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to figure out loyal to what, a brand, or to a certain a toy line, or to a cartoon line, or whatever.
But that's pretty much what it is. Basically, I was trying last week when we had the discussion. Just me, I was trying to draw the line between IP, the storylines, the brands that own them, the manufacturers. Like, where do you draw it? Because I think everyone's got a different answer. Although most people in this community would, I think, tend to go for, we want good representations of the character. We don't really care where it comes from, and just don't rip me off. But no one can say it that simple. It's always like,
Well, pretty much, yeah. But I mean, say let's just go with Masters of the Universe Origins because that's where I've been for the last 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I disloyal because I refuse to buy a certain figure or a certain playset?
Yes, you are. And I
Yeah.
have a checklist, and I've been checking, and you're falling way behind on your quota, Bill.
Well, I certainly am because there's some crap I'm not going to buy. I mean, I know Jim was going to go all in on the line. He was going to get everything that was retail available. I have not done that, and Jim knows that. Also, I've gotten some flack in the community because I said I thought that the Eternia playset was overpriced and I didn't have room for it, so I wasn't even going to go buy it. Well, you just think it's overpriced because you don't have enough money to get it, or you don't have enough room to have it, and that's why you're saying no. I'm saying that because that's me saying that.
Well, it was overpriced when they put it out. I said it a bazillion times, and trust me, it was overpriced when I bought it too. But you have to make that decision when you're doing a purchase of like, what does it mean to you? It's a personal decision, and I think too often in the community, people look at someone else's personal decision, say that doesn't jive with what I want to do, therefore that's wrong.
Yeah.
And
the world doesn't work like that. No. And people who think that way are going to be angry and disappointed and have few friends because it's going to be nigh impossible to find somebody who all they want to do is sit there and kiss your rear end. And I'm going to try not to curse on your show.
You can say ass. You can say ass.
I remember what my question was, and it fits in perfectly here. And that was, Jim, how do you feel when someone does not agree with what you're talking about? Because I get tickled. I think it's hilarious. I love it. I love to find out why someone doesn't like something that I think is beloved. It opens up a conversation, and it really opens the door to how other people think. So there's certain movies that I don't like, and then I hear from someone, they're like, it was marvelous. So do you prefer just to surround yourself with people who only agree with and like the things you like, or do you like being challenged from time to time? Because I've been challenged and found I could come to appreciate something I didn't like before because of someone's passion and their love for that IP. They explain it to me, and then I kind of see it in a different way. Other times they explain everything and I still go, nope, it's just not cool.
Well, I got to go along with a comment. I'll start with a comment that Jim Salzberg said, because it's kind of in that vein. He says, I love G.I. Joe and I really like Classified. I'm in the minority, and now it's all just redos of the O-rings, and I'm out since I have all those guys. I'm in the middle, where I've kind of committed to a lot of Classifieds, but I cherry pick. But now I'm getting some of the O-rings, so I'm now kind of splitting duties between the two. And I don't know where I'm going to land at the end of the day. I like them all very, very much. But to go to your question, it's like, that's a really slippery slope, G.I. Joe fans. And, like JLS is saying, do I like echo chamber or variety? It's always variety, because
exactly
at the end of the day, I like to enjoy others' joy, and I like to share the joy that I have. A great example of this, and you all can relate to this toy room, or that CD shelf, or that movie shelf, or that game shelf. People will come over and immediately they're stricken with, oh, fuck, there's a lot of stuff here, right? And they'll be like, oh, I remember this, I remember that. And they'll pick different stuff from different shelves, and they'll walk right by the shit they don't like or don't recognize. Sometimes they'll come back and ask a question or something, and then I'll be like, oh, that's cool, which is a very polite way of saying, I have no idea why you'd buy that, but I'm glad that it makes you happy. And I think that if we could recreate that vibe in normal discussion with other collectors and or just any conversation, I think things would go a lot smoother, because I really do feel that, if you don't like what I like, that's fine. I already have them. I'm fine. But I also can see, what if you were after something and you were lamenting the fact that you couldn't find it, or you couldn't afford it, or something like that, and then you got the people that would be like, fuck you, it's stupid anyway. That's part's like, well, that my reaction to that is then, well, if you're not buying it, that means I have that much more of a probability of getting the thing that I want. It's no skin off my nose at that point. Like, I don't care.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like-
and going to the G.I. Joe thing, like, I love O-Ring. Chad from Itch Chad, he thinks the modern is the bee's knees, and I don't agree with him, but we get along just fine. We both love them, you know? Like, it's all right. It's okay. What did Robert say about me?
He said, Will, I was just thinking the same thing about myself. When it's something I know is totally false, I have to say, hey, not real. And it ends arguments with some people.
Sure.
You know, well, that brings up something. You know, speaking of Robert, he was saying that he lost a really good friend of his over a 20-year friendship over some GI Joe bullshit. Dude, if you lost that son of a bitch, excuse me, if you lost that son of a gun over that right there, he wasn't your friend to begin with.
Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, it's like you were talking about with Chad. You know, Chad didn't like the old rings. He likes the newer figures. Good for him. I hope he collects all of them that he wants.
Right. You know, and like Koji wouldn't buy robotics and mini brand balls, but he's happy that you guys enjoy that. And I'm in the same boat. Like, I wanted robotics as a kid. I don't want them now. I had a lot of constructs
want more.
and Lego as a kid. I had a lot of constructs and Lego as a kid, but I don't want them now.
Did someone say robotics? So now
Goji was talking about my mini brand balls, which I do buy. They're perfect figure fodder for making displays for your figures. Yeah, there you go. You got him captured with the claw.
The very slow moving claw. You want to?
Yeah, I saw that. I watched
is
the
that
video of you doing that.
Is that an Epic Hero Series Groot? Is that what that is?
That is. My claws. I'm having claw dysfunction. I must be shy.
Are you saying that your middle-aged toy has ED?
Yeah. The claw's not working. Performance issues happens. But yeah, you said it, so I had to bring it up.
Well, for example,
okay, that's a good point. All right, so for some reason, I've detected this because I'm not in it, okay, but I've detected this. There seems to be some kind of rivalry between the Valaverse people with the Action Force stuff and the G.I. Joe classified people, and somehow they can't get along together. And for some reason, the freaking Action Force figures can't play with G.I. Joe figures. Oh, that's bullshit, man. Excuse me. That's bullcrap, man.
You can swear on my channel with impunity.
Yeah.
Okay, you just say what you say.
Don't tell me that because you know how I do. But I'm just saying, I don't understand why there has to be that. But if there is, you guys can go over there and get in the Thunderdome and y'all can have it out. But leave me out of it, okay?
Yeah. I think when we say like we're talking about the extremes, I think most of us agree that both of these can live in the world together and play together because we've been saying this since day one. But some people, they won't touch one or the other, and they'll argue, you know. But this brand loyalty kind of transcends just our toys. I mean, my entire life I've had people, you know. Oh, you drive a Ford truck? Oh, you suck. You know, you must drink from your mama's teeth. You know, like things like that. It's
the same thing with
only
beer,
babies
with soda.
drive Toyotas. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
or,
I grew up in a Coca-Cola household my whole life, and then at some point after retirement, Dad found a generic that he didn't mind, and then we just had generic, and I didn't care. And then I go out my own. I'm like, well, it is way cheaper. And then now we do the Soda Stream thing, and it's the same price no matter what I get. And I always prefer, if I'm out, I prefer Coke. When I have a soda, that's what I like. However, Soda Stream licenses Pepsi products, and the Soda Stream Pepsi Zero, like 0 calorie, tastes just like real Pepsi. And I'm like, I don't care if it's a little sweet. There's no sugar in it. It's not hurting me. And it's costing me like 1/10 of the cost. Yeah, even though I prefer it. It's like, even though I have the loyalty, I still make the choice because it's better for me. And, you know.
Well, what I don't understand are there are groups of people who want to sit in the same room with one another and they all get high sniffing their own farts.
Yes.
And they sit there and they rub each other's back and they pat each other's head. And if anybody comes in there that interrupts them in their little display, then they all jump up and attack that person because they're not believing the same way that they're believing, and they're not sniffing the same farts. I don't know why you would want to just be in that. Why can't you expand your mind and look out there and see what there is in this big wide world?
Well, I do think that
they believe for reasons, and you can understand that without actually sitting there and going along with them. And you don't have to convert everybody over to the way you believe. Let them believe what they want to believe. Who cares?
and that's I think that you're hitting a point, and I think it's the same point that Will is hitting too, which is the existence of an opposing opinion does not negate yours, and that for some reason there are people, and we just tend to see it more in pop culture more than ever. And I think that we focus on it in pop culture because that is something that doesn't have high stakes. We see it every day in the world. We do. And I think at the end of the day, if people could just learn to accept that, you can have a discussion with someone and you don't have to change, they don't have to change, but perhaps even if there's just a blade of grass worth of understanding, that's progress. Whether we're talking about toys or the soda or the beer or the politics.
Yeah, I think tribalism is just in human nature, and we tend to do it. We tend to group ourselves. And I think the disconnect from being online only and not in person, also we lose something, and it becomes a little more of a sharper kind of cutoff. Whereas, with day-to-day interactions, we probably wouldn't be as harsh critics of what someone says in a comment, whereas when you read it there and you're disconnected from the internet, a great equalizer where anyone could type whatever they want with seemingly no consequence, and some people type things that are inflammatory on purpose just to get a rise out of people. But it's not that. It is human nature to do that, but it's also human nature to embrace each other's differences and to learn from one another, and and sense the thing. So within our community, and I speak about most of the channels here and those people who are affiliated with them or have their own channels, and we all kind of congregate together. We have an appreciation of the hobby, which is collecting, and even though it may not be the same IP or the same thing that's coming out, we could appreciate the other person's passion for it because we're the same, we're this kind of click unto ourselves. So I think that's where it is. But no matter what you do, you can't control what other people are going to do or how they're going to react emotionally. And all you can do is control how you're going to accept that information as it comes through to you. And like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Speak up when you don't like something, but also be respectful of people who may appreciate that thing. Advocate for the consumer, because these companies are not your friends. And, to think that they are is folly. They're not your friends. They're selling you a product. So, speak up and get your money's worth.
Yep, and Goji has a nail on the head, as usual. Very succinct. He always takes the stuff we say and just distills it down to its fine point. Because some people have their whole identities wrapped up in the things they enjoy, and they see criticism of those things as a personal attack.
Yes, and it's not.
I agree. It isn't. And there's other good comments here. Like, Johnny's saying he doesn't get the Vala versus Action Force Moaners when you've got the original designer for Palatoy giving a blessing. They think they know better than the designer. Robert says, most of us can look at both guys on either side of the fence. Like, what are you talking about? And he's saying the same thing about gun. Salzburg saying gun collectors are like that. James Salzburg likes RC Cola. It's good stuff.
Some Shasta. Anyone remember Shasta Cola? Come on.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And JLS says no one here has the exact same collection. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
There's as many correct ways to collect as there are collectors that don't tell them what they should do with their money and their home. Robert's saying that he loves collection of individuals spin and learning how and why some things resonate, others do not. Robert also says Fellowship of the Dollies. So it's like, I
Yes.
really I have a big kick out of seeing like what people display, they choose not to display,
So
what they like. You know, I love that.
if we're the
stuff.
Fellowship of the Dollies, then like Granted's like, you have my Eternia, and then Bill's like, and you have my Doctor. Oh, my, what's the big robot, the Metzinger? that you were-
Mazinger,
Yeah.
the great
And you have
Mazinger.
my knockoff T-Rex that I love.
That's awesome.
That no one likes.
I like it.
One of the worst viewed videos on my channel, but
I
it's
like
one of
it.
my favorite toys in my entire collection. World peace is our mission.
But it's funny because like a great example, I think is Bill and I, because we're both really big Superpowers and Motu guys. Like those are our two big toy lines, and whereas he's more of the Superpowers completionist than I am, but he still isn't a full completionist with the modern. And then I'm kind of vice versa, with Motu, where I'm a very high-end completionist, but not a completionist of Motu, but I cherry pick Superpowers the way he cherry picks Motu Origins. And it's just funny. Like, we have such very similar interests and
And I
memories.
haven't had the heart to tell you guys this, but you guys have been wasting your money. Those toys are trash. You gotta buy the same stuff I buy, all right? You've been wasting your money for years. I'm kidding, of course. I don't collect either one of those lines. I have a few pieces
Here's
of
the thing.
each,
Here's
but
the thing.
I appreciate your
I know
your
Will's
joy.
playing. I know
Yeah,
Will's
of course.
playing up there.
You know
but,
I am.
But here's the thing. Are we going to get rich someday by reselling our collection? Oh, hell no.
That's not why I buy, yeah.
No, that's not why I'm buying this stuff. I'm buying this stuff because I want it and I want to have it in my collection and I want to play with it. God damn it. I mean, some folks want to sit there and look at it. That's fine. That's the way they collect. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not that guy. Okay, I'm gonna play with my shit. I'm gonna put it out on the table. I'm gonna play with it. I got Vince McMahon standing over here with I'm gonna get you demonetized with some poodoo all around him. Okay, I'm gonna play with my toys the way I want to, and damn everybody else. And if you don't like it, well, just move on. Go find somewhere else to hang out at. But if you think it's funny to watch me do what I do, then come over here and check it out.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Mr. Home Arcade says, Motu Origins is the best toy out there, period. So, I mean, and, he's right.
He's right, yeah.
For him, I mean, his channel's based on it. And if you haven't subscribed to him, damn it, you need to, because it's funny as hell over there.
He's only getting better.
I hate it that anybody would would try to go and tell Mr. Home Arcade that he can't say this or that or the other on his channel. He could say whatever the F he wants to on his channel and say it about anything he wants to on his channel. It's his channel, gosh dang it.
And that's, I think, again, it kind of gets to this whole place where all of these things, these loyalties kind of cross over, right? Because loyalty becomes this kind of a slippery slope where now we even like the same things, but now we have different opinions about those same things. And then you have the channels that talk about these things. You have loyalty to the channel. Then you have it's
sure. And you know what? I got to tell you, going out there, talking about a toy line you like and getting that feedback or a mutual shared appreciation for a toy line feels fantastic. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't prefer that. I like that. I love when people are into the same stuff I am, but it doesn't really disappoint me when they're not, it's not a big letdown when they don't appreciate it. Right. It does feel good. So it's great to feel, you're part of the crowd. You're all, into the same thing, but there's a partnership, a kinship there, but like Largo and I rarely collect the same stuff. Actually, we're kind of like polar opposites. He's into the 12-inch dollies. I'm into the little ones. We meet in the middle somewhere with the 6-inch and, so, we dabble in those, but we get along just great because we have a mutual kind of, like I said, appreciation for each other's tastes.
Well, it isn't about any one thing. That's the point. I just got through watching you guys talking with Gochitron about the DC comics, the mystery comics, and Tassel Secrets, and Sandman, and all that stuff.
Oh my God, that was an education for me.
It was. But the thing is, there's all these different elements of things in our lives that intersect. Some of them, there's Largo. Here he is. Some of them are things that we have in common, and some of them are not, and we just leave it at that. There was a lot of stuff, back when Largo used to hang out with me. I used to get a chance to see what he was doing a lot more often, and there was a lot of stuff in there that I liked, but it wasn't something that
I've been telling Largo he's collecting wrong. He's doing it all wrong. I've been telling him for years. He just doesn't listen to me.
Bill, thank you for not making fun of my Little Pony collection. I am a closet brony. It's okay, but.
Well, the only place that you don't have is the My Little Pony glue factory.
Well, that comes at the end of, that's the retirement ceremony for the bronies. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it also brings another point, like where you say like everyone collects different, but we all can still be friends. It goes beyond that, because a lot of times, and this group of 4 right here is a great example. We've all looked for something or traded something or are getting things for somebody else because we know that that person would really appreciate that, whether it's in a store or something out of their collection, or going out of your way to find it because like this is going to bring a big smile on the face. And it's about the smile. It's about the camaraderie.
Oh, yeah.
I never, when I started this little journey of being a toy collector, like I never thought that I would be really pleased to have a lot of Barbie in my house. But here we are in 2024. And every time something Barbie comes into this house, I'm happier to pick and shit because I get to see a smile on that redhead's face. It's the best.
I did not have any interest in collecting Godzilla until I got together with all these kaiju lovers. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. But it's sometimes, and you guys tell me if you think that you have an example of this or if you just agree. There's definitely stuff on my walls and in my heart that exists because not necessarily because I wanted that thing, but that thing represents someone I care about and their love for that thing. I think Power Rangers is an example of that, honestly, because I know a lot of 90s kids, and my wife's a 90s kid. Swiggle's one of my best friends. He's a 90s kid. It's like having Power Rangers. I can just go. They have a little the tick. Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm pointing this out, here's something that I would never buy for myself. Why do I have it in my collection? Because my brother saw it on a shelf somewhere, a little blister pack in a grocery store or filling station. He goes, Bill likes toys. I'll buy this and give it to him. And so he did. He bought me the Tick and Arthur, and he gave them to me. And guess what? They sit on my desk. And they remind me of him whenever I look at them. And then I have this toy that I had from when I was a kid from Godzilla and Pals. If you guys remember, he's a bendy toy. Yep. And this is the exact toy I had as a kid. But now, whenever I look at him, I think about Grindhead Jim. And he sits on my desk. And reminds me of Grindhead Jim whenever I look at him.
Yep. As I've said before, my Superpowers Batmobile will always have a place of honor because Grindhead helped me to locate that, and my Hall of Justice and some other goodies. So, yeah, I have a lot of things that are specifically in my eyesight in the lair because of friends who've helped me find them to add to my collection.
I can say the same thing about my box of Playmates Star Trek with Will. Like, right now it's just a box, and I weep for it. I'm like, But it's this whole thing where they'll eventually get to come out and breathe. But like the thing is, I will never be able to pass by that shelf that they're going to end up on and not think of Will, and then by connection, always think about these hangouts that we have, once a month or every couple of weeks or whatever, which you can participate in by becoming a member of the YouTube channel or Patreon right now.
That was a great segue there, Jim.
But the whole point being that, like, all of those times, like there's a handful of toys, a handful of things that remind me of the camaraderie and the friendship and the chosen family, and my loyalty ultimately is to you guys. It's not to all the dollies or to the logo that's on the packages that they come in. It's really to the other people that share the joy of these things from when we were growing up, because life doesn't last forever, and the more joy you can fill your heart with, I mean, how is there a wrong way to
I
do
like
that?
I like how you brought it back around. Nice segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Our loyalty is more to the friends we make along the way than the plastic dollies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not loyal to a brand. I like particular characters or even genres. I'm more into sci-fi, but I'm getting more into monsters and stuff. But it's the friends who appreciate what we're playing with that are like, I don't collect that, but it's cool. Or I know you collect it, and I found this at a flea market or whatnot.
I'm just glad that none of you sons of bitches collect Care Bears, because if one of you collected Care Bears, I'd be right out of here.
Hey, somebody's got the Grumpy Bear monopoly. I'm just saying.
Oh,
And it ain't you.
did I say
Hey, just
that?
Grumpy Bears.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm
Right
kidding.
there.
I'm just
I
messing
know.
around.
I know. Well, that's the thing is, I have the 3 of the plastic figures that talk to each other. I have 2 of the big plushes, and I have 2 of these little tiny plushes someone gave me. And they're in a little box, and I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like a little plush in a little box. It's like someone shrank them, like in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know, and I want more. Not that I'm going to have a Care Bear room or anything like Melvor, but you know, he doesn't have a Care Bear room, folks. I'm just joking with him. You know, because like you said,
I was
Jim
about to
also says
block
that he'll
him.
never have a justice jogger, but we know better.
Mm-hmm.
hey man, look.
Listen,
I may have just gotten a big Grail piece, and I may or may not have some Grail content coming this week other than Eternia that you may not know about. But I would never consider the Justice Jogger a Grail. I would consider it a muzzle upon all the people and that stupid hashtag. You know,
It's a meme.
Justice for the justice jogger.
I honestly, I think that what I would do if I did have one is I would get some wire and some cotton to make like a little smoke plume coming out of the back, and then take one of the newer superpower Supermans out of it and have him stand there, and then put a little thought bubble or a speech bubble coming off his head that says, "Fucking thing never works." You know? You know? See, there you go. Justice for the jogger right there.
and that's
see?
that's the thing too. I think some people are just too serious when their identity is their thing, and they can't let themselves get the piss taken out of them. It's fun, Let someone just It's okay. Your pals could beat up on you a little bit. They still love you. In most cases, it's because they love you even more. What's that?
It's a bit juvenile, though, isn't it, Wilhelm? I can remember back in play school where some kids would be over here and they would be having a good time playing with their toys, and then there would be some asshole kid that would come and knock all their shit down because they were having a good time over there. And it seems to be the same thing in adults in the toy community.
Some people
how dare you have a good time the way you want to? I'm going to come over there and kick your shit down.
It happens. I
mean, you see
in every community
like,
I've ever been in, there are those who do that.
Yeah,
Well,
and there's
also,
coming back to the loyalty thing. It's like there's community, and then there's gatekeeping. I hate gatekeeping.
mm-hmm.
It's gross.
It is. Because, for example, kids at home, if you're not aware of what we mean by gatekeeping and collecting, that'd be like me saying to Bill that he's not a real Motu Origins collector because he didn't get the Eternia.
Yeah, no, he's out.
That's not, no.
Out of the club.
No, I think if you have one Motu Origins figure, you're a Motu Origins collector. That's it. If you have one Marvel Legends or one this or one that, like, you collect that. Maybe you only have the one you want. Like, how cool is that? If you had one from every toy line you loved, and that's all you wanted, you'd have complete collections and shit.
And someone hits me up on Instagram and they're like, "Hey, Will, what's up? Can I come on the show?" I'm like, "Show me a fucking checklist. I want to see how complete your collection is."
Well, then there's like the other side of that, where Bill could like give me shit because I turned around after saying I have no interest in He Skeletor. And then I bought one on the aftermarket because I was like, you know what? No, I want one. And I don't even know what the fuck to do with him. I have no idea.
We're all hypocrites. We all say
Yeah.
we're never going to buy something and then do it. We've all done that. Come on.
You want to talk about hypocrisy? Let's go back. Let's go back for a long time and dig up an old live stream where Jim sits there and checks off what he's not going to collect. I won't be collecting these toys, and I won't be collecting
first
these
of all,
toys. I will only be
first of
collecting
all,
these toys.
that wasn't a live stream. That was a produced video that is there in perpetuity for all to see. And
That's
yeah,
worse.
Things
and
I will
Vin's
never ever
premeditated.
collect. Yes.
two-thirds of that video, I collect everything that I said. The last third are on my Grail list now, like Star Wars, like they're coming eventually. Like basically, I have one thing I have yet to reveal that I'm going to reveal this week, and then I have one more thing this year that I'm going to be getting, and those are kind of like the 3 grails that I've been chasing. And then it's like, okay, now what? And that's kind of like 2024, the second half is now what? And the fact is it really is going to be just business as usual, except that I don't have the same aspirational stuff. And what's interesting about that is when you get the so-called big things, it's not like it's not the satisfaction of like, oh, I have this now. It's not the same. So like when you get a toy that you got on pre-order that maybe was selling out or something, or it's something that's hard to find but you got it at a good price, you fill a slot and that feels good. But when you get something that's aspirational like that, there's a satisfaction that's very different from the, okay, I can just check that off now. It's something totally different. But with collecting, I think you'll find, and more conversations will be had about this, that the bar just keeps moving. You know, maybe you get all the big things and now it's just going after a bunch of little things, and that brings you just as much joy.
No,
But I also know
I got asked
eventually-
recently, did I have any grails? And I had to stop for a minute. Do I have any left? I mean, I've got my Machinders. I've got all this Motu stuff that I've ever wanted. I've got all this superpower stuff I've ever wanted. I've got Rom the Space Knight, that shitty toy that I always wanted to have and didn't realize.
awful.
I know.
Parker
Parker Brothers, they tried.
What could replace all of that? Nothing right now. I had to stop and say I pretty much got what I want.
Yeah.
There
So
are
I'm
some
not-
oddballs
Bill,
out there.
you can do what I do is I just write It's Chad a list and I ask him if it's okay if I like certain toy lines or not. And whichever ones he says it's okay, then I collect them. So you could do that too.
Nah.
That opens
We
up
like stuff.
like customizing, for example, Bill. You're a big customizer. I'm
I
not.
do.
I may eventually get there, and that might be what I would call a retirement project. You know,
Sure.
That might be
Did
something
you?
to retire.
Yeah, but you do not customize anything that's vintage, right? That stuff's gonna be
I
worth
do.
money someday.
Yeah. I have.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
You don't reproduce. You don't do it.
Check this out. All right.
Hey! I've bought vintage toys on the card, and I've opened them up off the card.
Okay. All right. Look. I bought this with my money. If I want to put it in the toilet and shit on it, I will.
Yep.
All right. I don't.
It's like I've
Well,
become
actually,
rather disillusioned with Marvel Legends, but if I catch one on clearance, it's got a good head sculpt. It goes in my, it becomes an Action Force figure. And
Granted,
some people
you
look at
can-
that and groan, but
Did somebody say crap shit right here on the air?
I was gonna say there is a market for that. You could definitely.
Yeah, if they did Rom in Marvel Legends scale, I would actually totally buy one of those because Rom is one of those
Me too.
characters that just exists in that weird place in.
I would
pop
like to
culture.
see, I'd love to see a ROM resurgence. It's a cool character. Marvel did a great comic. We need the
Yeah.
action figure.
We need
Yeah.
we need an action figure. What Bill got was a doll with a light in it.
Well, There was a 4-inch one that came out as a Comic-Con exclusive. Very few people were able to get it. Boo, hiss. I wish Hasbro had made that, for everybody.
Remember that the Hasbro, we all got excited about it on this show when they redid like Pulsar and a couple other characters, but they ended up being like a scale that doesn't work with anything.
Oh, the Mattel special.
They were Marvel Legends scale, if I'm not mistaken, and they were in a box set that you could only get at one convention somewhere.
It was Major Matt Mason. It was Big Jim from the Wolfpack era and Pulsar. Yeah, and they were done in Secret Wars style, which was lame.
Yeah, I
thought they were 5-inch scale. Yeah, they were Secret Wars size.
Yeah,
5-ish.
I don't think they were ever meant to be taken off of the package, Jim. I think they were meant to sit there and somebody, go, ooh, I got it.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Every toy manufactured is manufactured, or it should be manufactured, with the intent that it be taken out of the box and used. Now, if the person who buys it chooses not to do that, I understand that, and that's valid. But,
except for NECA. You cannot open those because if you do, they fall apart.
They're getting better.
I got a couple back there. I'll open one right now.
The Flash Gordon and the Phantom, those were good. They didn't break. I do see some improvements.
I'm afraid to open their boxes. They've been trapped in their boxes since I bought them. The carded ones, I bought those as well. The ones that were on the vintage card backs.
Right.
I haven't opened them either, but I probably should someday. But
well, it's the same thing with some of like the first toys that I bought. Really, like I always say, it's Lex Luthor, but it was earlier that year I bought a couple NECA horror figures, and I've never taken them out of the box, mainly just because at first I didn't have a way to display them without them falling, and now it's like I don't really have a place for them out of the box, and then now it's like, well, now they've been in the box for 5 years almost, and that's old NECA, so it's like, shit.
I'm about coming to the conclusion when it comes to NECA, there are other toy companies that are making some of the same toys that NECA are, and those toys are better than the NECA toys. They play better, they display better.
I'm just waiting for someone to get a 6-inch scale license for my horror icons, because all I want, a good Freddy, a good Jason, a good Michael Myers, a good Pinhead, a good Leatherface, and I'm happy for horror, mainly. Which I don't think is a huge ask, but NECA's got a stranglehold on those licenses right now. And arguably, some of the newer Ultimates they've been coming out with, if they have the improvements that NECA supposedly has, should be fine. But am I willing to take that risk? No, but I was willing to take the risk on the Flash Gordon King Features versions that were on clearance at Big Bad. I just haven't opened them yet because I'm a wuss.
Well, and Gojitron, bless his heart, he got me really into some of the classic horror. So when, was it Jada? Yeah, Jada did the classic monsters. That was a better alternative than NECA because it's in my 6-inch scale I prefer. You can actually play with them and they don't break.
Yep.
And they were really well done. I'd like to see them do more of that line. But there's stuff out there. You just have to look.
You brought up a good point, though. Those Jada figures, those Jada horror figures, my wife really got into those because, I had bought, I think we'd gone to Ross, and they had the Bride of Frankenstein in there, and she came running up with that, and I want to get this. Okay, that's fine.
Can I share a screen? Can you guys see that?
Yep, that was the set for San Diego Comic-Con. That's the only ROM we've had recently.
Yeah, it says they're 3.75-inch figures. But then
they were
have
4-inch.
Yeah. So it says on this article that they were, but you got ROM, the Dire Wraith, Roadblock, Action Man, Matt Tracker, and Leoric from the Visionaries.
And Jetfire. Really cool Jetfire.
And the Micronauts.
Yeah, it was a great set, but it's crazy expensive on secondary market now.
I can't afford that.
Yeah.
No.
All I would really want would probably be the ROM out of that whole set, maybe a couple of those Micronauts.
A couple Dire Wraiths would be cool. But It's not that they can't do it. They just don't like money for some reason. Hasbro has a bunch of great
There's
characters
a lot of
they
companies
could
that are
do.
leaving money on the table. Even Mattel
Right?
is doing that in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but I feel like just Hasbro, they're doing what's right for us. So even though you may not understand it, it's what's good for you. So you should be asking yourself, what's good for the company?
Indeed.
What can I do to help the company? That's what you should always be thinking.
Be a Hasbro. Yeah. No.
Zazel, what's happening, Zazel?
That's funny.
Best beard in the business.
All right. Well, folks, this has been a really fun damn discussion. I knew the panel was going to be good, but this has been amazing. But you guys always know I have some hidden message in all these. We already hit it earlier. Is that really the loyalty should be to each other and to ourselves. I mean, that's at the end of the day. All these brands, all these IPs, whatever joy it brings you. It's not about the product. It's about the joy. And if getting some products on your shelf enhance that, or just talking about with your buddies, enhance that, that's where your loyalty should lie, in my opinion. Closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Always ask yourself, what would Moss Man do? And then go over to Hello Dope Toys.
Okay. Bill, closing thoughts?
The only thought I have is you can play with your toys the way you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one word, and one word only, that I'll repeat several times, and that is grind, 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 grind.
Okay, that's fair enough, boys. I appreciate you. So, I love you guys very much. Thank you for being here. I'm sure we'll all talk very soon. But give it up for the panel, folks. Give it up for the panel. And we'll see many, if not all of you, possibly next week for the panel. So I'm going to close out here. And thank you guys so much for your time. I love you, face.
Thank you.
So, what a great group of guys. I love these dudes so much. Like there's not enough words to say how much I love those guys and all the people that comprise the community and in general, but especially like my closest friends that also happen to be members and whatnot. So I love getting a chance to talk to them. And Johnny is right. There is a premiere coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and post that in the chat here. It's actually scheduled for 8 minutes from now. So it'll be, you have time to go to the bathroom. Let me just go ahead and get that typed out here. Premiere. Yay. All right. Bam. And let's pin it. Pin. Boom. All right. There you go. So, and again, that's for the video talking about my procurement of Eternia and how I felt about that. Like I said, it's about a 20-minute video. You guys should have a lot of fun. It's a nice discussion. And I hope that it brings joy to your heart, because you bring joy to my heart. And I love this show. I love where this evolution of the format is coming. I love having these discussions. It is the most fun. And I am so grateful for all of you. I am so grateful for all of you and for all the support through the last several years. And we're only getting started. So until next week, may all your card backs be straight. May all your grinds be merry. And maybe able to find anything you're looking for at a given time at a price you feel is reasonable, especially when it's free, right here on TGL every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, like clockwork. We'll see you guys over there for the premiere. I'll be in chat, enjoying myself. Hope you enjoy yourself. Good night, one and all. Love your faces. Cheers.